All right? You get this incredible idea for an app or a website. You can see it perfectly in your head. But then, that one question pops up that stops so many amazing projects dead in their tracks.
How do you actually get that idea out of your head and turn it into a real, live website that people can actually use? It feels like this giant, impossible leap. But what if I told you it doesn't have to be?
Well, the answer is actually a really simple but powerful blueprint. It's a system that we can break down into 5 distinct layers. And once you see these layers, the whole path from just an idea to a full-on launch becomes super clear, and more importantly, totally achievable.
This right here, this is your roadmap. Seriously, every single digital product, whether it's a simple little blog or some complex app, follows these 5 basic steps. You think it, you build it, you add the brains, you put it online, and you give it a name. Let's break down each one. So, let's start right at the beginning with Layer 1, thinking. Every great project kicks off with a great idea, of course. But today, the way we think about bringing those ideas to life has completely changed.
In this new landscape, thinking is really all about how well you can communicate with an AI. This skill has a name. It's called prompt engineering. And you can think of it like being a movie director. If you give clear, precise instructions, you get an amazing performance. If your instructions are vague, you get a confusing mess. This first step is the foundation for absolutely everything that comes after.
For this stage, you're going to lean on the big, large language models like ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude. But here's the key. You need to treat them like strategic partners, not just little assistants. They can help you brainstorm features, map out how users will navigate your site, and even write up the technical specs that will guide the next phase.
Okay, so once you have that clear plan from Layer 1, we get to move on to the really fun part. Layer 2, building. This is where your idea stops being just a concept and starts becoming a real thing you can actually see and interact with.
And this is where we're seeing a massive shift, with the rise of what are called AI agents. Now, these aren't just tools that spit out little bits of code. No, these are systems that can generate entire applications, find and squash bugs, and get your project ready to go live. Your AI literally becomes your co-developer.
And there are some incredibly powerful tools making this a reality right now. You've got platforms like Cursor that put AI right into your code editor, and services like Replit that give you an entire development environment right in your browser. They're all designed to do one thing: make that journey from idea to a working product happen way, way faster.
Okay, so you've built the front end, the part people actually see. But for your app to be truly useful, it needs a brain. And that brings us to Layer 3, the backend. The backend is the layer that handles all the complicated logic that's happening behind the scenes. We're talking about things like user accounts, managing databases, handling logins securely, and storing all the data. This is what turns a simple web page into a powerful, dynamic application. Building this brain used to be a really complex, tangled mess. But modern tools like Firebase and Supabase are like a magic wand. They transform all that chaos into a clean, organized system. They handle the hard stuff, the databases, the user logins, so you can focus on what makes your app special and unique.
So, your app is built, it's smart, it works, now what? Well, it needs a place to live so the whole world can access it. Welcome to Layer 4, infrastructure, or as most of us call it, hosting.
Hosting is really simple when you break it down. It's just the service that puts your application on the internet and keeps it running around the clock, 24/7. It's basically the digital real estate where your project lives, so anyone from anywhere in the world can visit it anytime.
For this, you're going to rely on the major cloud platforms. Think Google Cloud, Vercel, or AWS. These are the giants that power a huge chunk of the internet, and they provide the global infrastructure you need to make sure your application is fast, secure, and always online. And here is a huge advantage for anyone new to this: the cost. Many of these platforms, especially Google Cloud, offer hundreds of dollars in startup credits. This isn't just a discount, it's runway. It means you can get your project off the ground and running for free, letting you focus all your energy on building your product, not worrying about your budget.
We are at the final step. Your project is built, it's online, but it needs an identity. So let's talk about Layer 5, the domain. This is how you give your project its official name.
Without a domain, your users would be stuck with some long, forgettable, auto-generated URL. A domain name replaces all that with a unique, memorable address, like yourbrand.com. It's your digital storefront sign. It looks professional, it builds trust, and it's how the world will find and remember you.
And getting one is so simple. You just use a service like Namecheap or GoDaddy to find and register a name that fits your project. This is the final piece of the puzzle that makes your project truly complete and ready to show to the public.
So let's just put this all into perspective for a second. The old way of doing things meant manual everything, planning, coding, building a backend from scratch, plus expensive setup costs. This new 5-layer system completely flips the script. AI helps you plan and build, modern tools simplify the backend, and cloud credits often make the whole initial setup free. This isn't just an easier process. It means pretty much anyone can build now.
So what can you actually do with this system? Well, the possibilities are pretty much endless. With just these 5 layers, you have the skills to build professional landing pages, create stunning portfolios, launch e-commerce websites, and even develop real functional apps for clients. This is easily enough to start earning real money.
And this is probably the most important message to take away from all of this. The barrier to entry has never been lower. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to master a dozen different things all at once. You don't need an expensive setup. You just need to understand the layers and begin. You just have to start.
You now have the complete blueprint. This is the system behind every single digital product you see and use online. So the only question left is, what are you going to build with it?